City of Stevens Point Police and Fire Commission meeting, recorded August 10, 2022.
All right, I have 2 o'clock on August 10th, 2022. So we're going to call to order the Police and Fire Commission. Leanne, could you please call the roll?
Kirschling.
Here.
Taylor.
Here.
Rozek. Here. Ostrowski.
Here.
And Moore.
Here. Second item on the agenda is the approval of minutes from last month's meeting. And it was actually a month ago. Look at that. Motion, comments, questions?
Morozek, approval of last month's meeting minutes. Can I talk here? Speak? You're
You're making that motion to approve those
Oh,
minutes?
should I making the motion?
Kirschling second.
And here we begin, right?
Oh, boy. We have a motion from Rozek, a second by Kirschling. Any questions or comments? All in favor, please say aye.
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 Motion carries. Agenda item number 3 is the confirmation of bills. Mr. Ostrowski.
Having reviewed the bills on behalf of the commission, I find nothing that stands out or unusual. I just want to remind my fellow commissioners to always add the current months to the running budget to get the true picture. And I would like to again commend the chiefs because both budgets are running in line. And with that, I would recommend we approve the bills as submitted.
Is that a motion?
That is a motion.
Okay, we have a motion from Mr. Ostrowski. Do we have a second?
Second by Morozek.
Second by Morozek. Any questions or comments?
Look good to me.
Okay. Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to agenda item number 4. Do you want to? We're going to move up an issue
In the fire chief's report.
with permission from the commission. The fire chief needs to move an issue up dealing with our little friends in the front row.
That is correct.
Go ahead.
Okay. I would just like to introduce, we have 2 new canines with the Stevens Point Fire Department. They are therapy certified canines. They've gone through all their schooling. Coco and Shadow are with us today. Shadow is a 3-pound Yorkshire Terrier full grown, and Coco is a 7-pound Yorkshire Terrier full grown. We've gone through Positively Unleashed as with the program and Animal Therapy Animal Unleashed organization. They have been certified with as Therapy Animals Unleashed, and they are with us today. The insurance is actually through Sportsman's Insurance Agency plan, and they do carry a liability policy on them. So they are certified as therapy dogs. We had to get therapy certified handlers, and then they also have to have insurance on them. They'll be with us within the department. Here and there, we're gonna, I guess, share custody between the Stevens Point Fire Department and the Wisconsin Rapids School District.
Nice. If you two could go up there to the podium with the dogs so that they can get them on camera so everybody can see them, and introduce them again so that we know which one's which.
Sure. So Shadow is the smaller one my wife is holding. She's a 3-pound Yorkshire Terrier, and Coco is being held by my daughter Maya, which is the 7-pound Yorkshire Terrier. They've made their way into the firehouse already for morning coffee and shift exchange. So they are available to be used during SISM call-out or any therapy needs within the Stevens Point Fire Department. We've also offered this assistance program out to Division 110 MABUS organization throughout Portage County, and also have offered this out to the Portage County Chiefs Association. So they are here to be used at the county and the department's discretion, and anytime they're needed, they can be activated.
Wonderful. Any questions from the commission?
No, I think it's great.
Yep. Good
Excellent.
things.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Very nice addition to the firehouse.
It is.
Small addition.
Even when they make a mess, it's not a large mess.
It's not a large mess.
Okay, thank you for that. Chief, thank you for your cooperation on that. And we're going to move back to the regular agenda at this point to agenda item number 4, which is the approval of Cole O'Neill to regular police officer status.
Yep, so Cole O'Neill, you've all gotten a letter from Lieutenant Steve Spath. Cole O'Neill started with our department February 22nd of 2021. We have an 18-month probationary period. Over these 18 months, Cole has grown into an incredible officer. He's a huge asset to our department. He's extremely courteous and professional. And what I'm asking the PFC for is that you grant him permanent status as a Stevens Point police officer beginning August 22nd of 2022.
He's met all necessary requirements?
He has.
Everything? Okay, do we have a motion?
I motion that we move Officer O'Neill to permanent officer status effective August 22, 2022.
Okay, we have a second?
Kirschling, second that.
Kirschling seconds. Okay. Any comments or questions? We have one person in the audience, Alderperson.
Yeah, Mary Kneebone, 5718 Sandpiper Drive. I had the good fortune, I guess, to meet my neighbor right in the middle of the street one day as we both backed out of our driveways. Exactly. And when Officer O'Neill was the responding officer, could not have been more professional. Didn't go into a squad car and laugh uproariously, which I would have been very tempted to do because it was a pretty hysterical situation. But he's a credit to the department, so good for him.
Very nice. Any other comments or questions? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion to move him to permanent status, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Congratulations, Cole. Agenda item number 5, police chief's report.
I will try to make this short and sweet, but I do want to start off with kind of a somber note. On the 31st of last month, Dr. Clark Poggle passed away. If you don't know who he is, he actually worked here as a police officer, as a corporal, as a detective, and a sergeant from 1979 to 1989. And then he resigned his position to dedicate himself to Mid-State Technical College, where he took over the law enforcement training program and began the academy. We've got several officers here that have been trained and inspired by him, and I believe it says that I think he's affected or influenced at least over 2,000 officers currently in the state of Wisconsin. So he is a huge loss to law enforcement. So if you look at the officers or my chief's report, on the 11th of July, Officer Sam Hessel was sworn in as our newest officer, and he is number 279th based on the history here. On the 12th of July, several of us participated in a fundraiser over at Pizza Ranch. At Christmas time, 89Q donates gift cards to us to hand out to people that are in need. And so we do fundraisers throughout the year to get money to buy those. And this year we ended up raising $1,900 at Pizza Ranch, which is about $300 more than we did last year. So the people that had participated, I want to thank them. I mean, we bussed tables, we did dishes, and stuff like that. So we had a couple big investigations that concluded in July. We did have an overdose death of a pregnant female. A search warrant resulted from that. We ended up getting 55 grams of fentanyl, 29 grams of crack cocaine, almost 9 grams of methamphetamine. We got 5 grams of marijuana laced with methamphetamine. We also got 2 firearms and some ammunition. And the 2 individuals that were involved in delivering that substance to that female, we actually requested charges of reckless homicide on both the unborn child and the mother to the district attorney's office. One of the issues we've been having a lot lately is the homeless downtown. The chiefs met with the Downtown Business Alliance to try to come up with some solutions. We've come up with a couple ideas. That'll hopefully help. And one of the things that biannually our CIT officer does is he goes down with the Salvation Army at 3 o'clock in the morning, and he walks around and tries to identify where the homeless are and who they are, and they hand out bags, which I've got here. They contain water, food, blanket, masks, wash rags and stuff like that. So that was done towards the end of the month here on the 28th. And then Leanne, on the 29th of July, celebrated her 28th year here with the police department.
Thank you.
Only 30 more to go.
Yeah, I wish, I could only hope, and then the other thing I just asked the commission to do is look at my notes, because under the calls of interest, a lot of those incidents, I shouldn't say a lot, but several of those have involved a firearm. So that's really gone up in the last several months, where officers get called where a firearm's involved. And the welfare checks last month, we had 71 welfare checks. So mental health is still a very, very serious topic here in Point. And then I'm gonna end on something pretty cool. I ended up getting a letter for one of our officers. His name is Officer Trevor Zingler, and I just received this. But we had gotten a letter from an individual who couldn't get a hold of her elderly mother, and on June 25th. And at about 7 o'clock at night, she decided to call instead of driving 100 miles here to Stevens Point. And this is what she wrote. Within about 20 minutes, I had a call from Officer Trevor Zingler informing me he was on site and asking about gaining entry. After some back and forth, we were able to connect him with the complex manager, who has a master key. Officer Zingler called to inform me he was entering the apartment. About 10 minutes later, he called again to inform me of my mother's passing. I know another officer was with him, but I have no idea who it was. Throughout the entire experience, Officer Zingler was very professional, personable, and showed an abundance of empathy and sympathy. It is Officer Zingler I wish you to pass on our most sincere thank you and respect. I know it was a difficult evening for him as well. The following day, I needed some information from the medical examiner in the funeral home and called and spoke with the officer in charge of the Stevens Point Police Department. He, too, was very sympathetic and most helpful. I know all too often you hear about how bad things are handled, but rest assured, you have some very fine, conscientious officers in your department. So that was a pretty cool letter to receive, so I just wanted to read that at the end. And
Thank
that's
you,
Chief's
Chief.
report.
Can you, did you want to show us that backpack a little more than just having it sit down there?
Yeah, I can. So, there's a lot of stuff in here, but there's blanket, and we can actually pass it around too. Water bottle, hat, some masks, you got water, wash rag, bags, a rain poncho. It's just something to help them get through, obviously, those cold evenings and wet evenings. But again, it's still something we need to work on because it's getting a little out of control downtown.
Yeah, Chief, could you expand a little bit upon the meeting with the Downtown Business Alliance trips?
Yep. So, the Downtown Business Alliance is gonna reach out to the Franciscans, hopefully come up with a solution on looking at when their tenancy is up, to see if we can maybe move to a different location, because it's downtown. The other thing is, we've been working with Attorney Beveridge about loitering. I'm trying to figure something out through that process as well. And just a simple suggestion that came through was on the benches, just to put like a metal bar, another handle in the middle, so people can't lay on the benches. They can still sit together, but something as simple as that. And so we've been reaching out to a lot of people, asking them for feedback or ideas, because again, it's a tough situation. A lot of them, we offer them hope or help. They don't want it. They won't go to the Salvation Army because the Salvation Army has rules and regulations, and they have to look for jobs, and they have to be in at a certain time. So it's just a really tough situation at this point.
Chief, a couple of years ago, I remember we received a report that there was some, how would you call it, perennial homeless that were on a circuit like. and we were tracking and kind of keeping track. Has that number gone up?
It's hard to say because the day that they did their survey, they ended up meeting 10 individuals that were homeless. I think there's probably 15 right now, and they're new faces coming into town. We're not really sure how they're getting here, who's bringing them here. Portage County does offer a lot of resources, and I think that's what brings a lot of them here as well. But I do think it's gone up.
Okay, thank you.
And then Chief, one last question. I think I count 7 incidents involving a firearm. Is this isolated to this community, you think, or are you hearing about this from peer police departments around the state?
I have not heard, I mean, obviously bigger cities and stuff, but surrounding agencies like the Sheriff's Department or Plover, I haven't heard about that many gun calls. And again, some of them were air rifles or pistols, but again, they presented them as real ones, and that's how officers have to go into that mindset. So again, it just shows that it's getting a little bit more violent out there, use of weapons. I'm sure all of you have heard about, we did have a recent shooting. It was a domestic incident. The officers, detectives did an incredible job. They were able to apprehend the suspect probably within an hour and a half, 2 hours of him shooting the other individual. So that's just another one that'll be on next month's.
Okay.
Okay, we're gonna need a motion to accept the report and place it on file.
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion,
Second.
second. Comments or questions? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye.
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 I just wanted to, I was like, yes, I approve it. I just wanted to, personally thank those that, on our police staff that attended for the Christmas fundraiser at Pizza Ranch. My understanding is Lieutenant Joe Johnson is the one who kind of led the way on it.
Yep.
And we had both of our assistant chiefs there, Rotier Williams, Lead Officer Lee, our CSO Gabota, and Chief Cuso himself. And a little birdie told me that he was the dishwasher there, so one of the jobs that no one really likes to do, but we had our chief there doing that, so it's much appreciated. That money does go to those that are definitely in need, so I just wanted to thank you for that.
Okay, thank you very much. That motion carried. We are moving on to agenda item number 6, which is discussion with possible action on the use and evaluation of exit interview materials. Last month, we had introduced this, and we haven't done anything with it yet. I am hoping that some of you did some research on it to try and figure out what we want to do. Does anybody have any comments or questions about it?
Jerry, I can go ahead. So I reached out to Marshfield, Wausau, Wisconsin Rapids, PFCs, and their HR department. And I was told that the PFC is not involved at all in the exit interviews. It's handled directly through HR. I contacted the League of Wisconsin Municipalities to see if there was any paperwork or any guidance that they could provide me on that. And in regards to the PFC, and they said, unfortunately, they don't. That was just, it was an odd request, I guess, is what I was told. I did have a brief conversation with Chief Cuso to seeing if there's a possibility that some of the larger, cities, potentially Milwaukee, Madison, if they have anything as far as the PFC handles, that we could take a look at, not necessarily adopt, but, have a starting point. So that's where I've gotten with that. And I know I've talked to you to kind of see if the door can be open, the introduction made, then that I could proceed with. And the Milwaukee or Madison, those are just the two that I'm thinking might possibly have something out there.
Okay.
So that's where I sit with that.
Anybody else done any massive research or anything?
I haven't done any research, but in taking part in this, I do think this is something that the commissioners need to continue to work on to get something, because the ones I've participated in really felt good about the fact that they had a chance to express themselves, positive, negative, whatever. And so I would hope that we continue to work to do something with this.
Okay. I brought a copy of the city's
Do you want it back, Jerry?
policy. No, you can hold on to that. That we can use as perhaps a template. And Denise, if you would like to kind of craft what you have found and maybe modify what we have from the city to make it fit the Police and Fire Commission next month, we can introduce that as maybe a template or a starting place to develop a policy and make any other changes to move this along, if that's acceptable from everyone. If you have any ideas, please contact Denise.
Sweet.
If you don't mind taking charge of that.
That's fine.
Okay. All right, does anybody else have any comments or questions about this issue? Okay, then let's move on to item number 7, which is discussion of the update to the administrative procedures of the Police and Fire Commission. Again, another one that we introduced last month that we haven't done much of. I know at the beginning of the year, Deanne was kind enough to reach out and get us all copies of the handbook for Wisconsin Police and Fire Commissioners from the League of Wisconsin Municipalities. And it is a great resource for many subjects that we have to deal with. And I would like us to craft what we have as policies now and hopefully use this book as a guide to streamline those and make sure that we coincide with state statute and all the other lovely little things we have to follow. So we will continue to work on that and continue to move that forward because it's imperative that we update that because we really don't have a great policy and procedures guidance. We've got a couple of different versions of it that have been modified through the years and don't coincide. One was a project this process was started a few years back and it was never completed. And there was other people in the chief's positions and on the Police and Fire Commission, and it kind of fell in the cracks with other events that were going on. So we got to pick all that up and start putting it back together again. So I'm sure Attorney Beveridge has nothing to do and would love to help with this situation. So I don't know if there's a lot of discussion to be had today. If anybody else has a comment, that would be welcome right now.
I mean, the only thing that I can see is, so this is breaking it down into sections and saying that that's the only way we're going to be able to start attacking it and working
Agreed.
on this section of it, getting it finalized, working with Attorney Beveridge to keep the process going.
I agree with
This
that.
discussion last month, the start of this was in, I can't remember this discussion from the last meeting that brought this on.
Well, we didn't really have a huge discussion about it. It was just introduced as an
Okay.
upcoming project.
Okay,
Yeah, this
Now I'm
is
tracking.
kind of the beginning of the whole thing right now.
okay.
That we're bringing it back and putting it in front of the commission because it was here once a long time ago and it kind of fell on the wayside.
I guess my views are it's always good housekeeping to make sure your policies are up to date and
Yep.
we're streamlined, so.
Okay, so we'll continue to move forward on that. And we're gonna move on then with agenda item number 8, which is discussion and possible action from Chief Moody for the HVAC bids for the fire department.
Correct. Those of you who don't know, we have been without, our HVAC system went down late last fall, and our boilers have been running, as far as heat's concerned, at a very low proficiency rate. This spring, we have been trying to adjust, and we have bought some window air conditioners for Station 1, but obviously it is not keeping up with the building at hand. The HVAC system, we did, unbeknownst to us, We didn't realize there was a large leak in the system. We charged the system at several $1,000s last year, only to have it leak out within a matter of days and be without air conditioning again. So with that, and since they have not done any work to the HVAC system or AC units within that building since the early 80s, it's time to do some modifications. When we brought in two different local companies to give us bids on our HVAC system, both Badger Heating and Air Conditioning and Complete Control, we realized when we went through the system, there were several other issues with the department's HVAC system, including the boilers running at a very low proficiency rate, somewhere between 30 and 40%. Having some of our ductwork actually piped from the apparatus bay into certain offices. So when you go into certain offices within the department, you'll see the black diesel staining soot around the HVAC systems that's piping in that air right from the apparatus floor into offices like mine. Other offices within the department don't even have HVAC at this time or heating or air. They just have to leave the doors open and hopefully the ambient air temperatures change throughout. Due to this situation, we have gone ahead and got two bids, and one from Badger Heating and Air Conditioning, like I said, the other from Complete Control. And after extensive review of both and a lot of careful discussions with Lieutenant Kudrowski, who's in charge of our building and maintenance at Station 1, the recommendation is to go with the Badger Heating and Air Conditioning bid. And I'm looking for approval on that in order to take it in front of committees and council next week for approval, and then hopefully get working on this yet this fall, so we have heat in the building over the winter, and next year start out with air conditioning right away.
Chief, I have a quick question. I'm looking and adding these numbers up for Complete Control, and there's multiple quotes, bids, and when I add it up, it comes to 226, roughly 226,000 for Complete Control. Am I missing something?
Yes.
Badger is at 436 and Complete Control's at 226.
Yeah, so the complete bid from Complete Control was around 500,000, and the Badger bid was at 436,092.
Okay.
I also noticed, am I correct in reading this right, follow on Commissioner Kirschland's comment, they are not replacing the multi-zone, so the cooling is not being replaced,
No,
just the heating for Complete Controls, right?
correct.
Okay, so they didn't effectively quote a cooling replacement as where Badgers did heating and cooling.
Correct, and there can be, Badger was willing to give more of a comprehensive report if needed. And at this point, Lieutenant Kudrowski didn't feel there needed to be one at this point.
Okay.
Chief, am I right when I read completes, it's almost like they were offering patching? As a,
That's the way it reads.
So, correct, there are
whereas
different
when I read Badgers, it's a complete
overhaul
Yep.
Okay.
of the complete system at Station 1.
So Chief Moody, what are we missing here?
From Complete, what's the pages that we're missing in
We're
our
missing about
documents?
$300,000 worth of something.
While you're looking for that, I have a question for the city attorney, because this is building related and operational or not operational capital. Is this really an issue that we need to approve?
Is that what it is? I don't know.
So the city council's purview is design and location of facilities, so there's certainly a level of involvement by the city council in these types of matters. However, that doesn't mean that you're prohibited from discussing it or anything like that. In fact, I think the actual, design, configuration, and effect on the experience of people in these structures is, has operational aspects that you should, even if you're not the final arbiter of whether and how these repairs are made, input from this body is certainly important.
Thank you.
So, Yeah.
And I don't know if this helps.
So what you actually have to be adding is the HVAC, AHU units and control replacements is one section. The boiler replacement is another section. The hydronic heating units is another section. And then the apparatus bay ventilation is another complete section of the bid. So each part of that.
AHU, what we have, it says we will not be quoting this option.
Project 4.2.
Yep.
And that's not noted on Badgers at all. Oh, no, 4.2, deduct it. We have 4.3, 4.4, 4.5 from complete control. And then that came to, Joe, did you say 226,000 roughly?
Roughly that, I mean, that's
So,
very rough.
yeah,
I've got the total project numbers that Victor Kudrowski sent me was 504,783. And so obviously I am missing a part of that packet.
I was wondering the same thing as my fellow commissioners, if that 4.2 might be the difference.
That might be the difference in it.
And they're pulling back from,
Yeah.
Is there any narrative or anything from Complete Control on why the HU is not being replaced and the other contractor feels they can do it? That's also one thing I'm curious about too.
That I don't.
They know more than we do, obviously.
Right.
So I was just curious if they had talked to any of you guys about this, if you had any other knowledge.
No, I actually left that up to Lieutenant Kudrowski
Okay,
in our
sounds good.
building maintenance.
Okay.
And I feel that Lieutenant Kudrowski, he is very detailed. He doesn't leave stones unturned.
Okay.
So if he says that this is the best way to go, I personally, and as a commissioner, would believe that.
Okay.
And I would follow his recommendation.
So obviously we'll have to pull up 4.2 and see what that leaves. But, like I said, the total project was 436 from Badger and 504 from Complete Control. And that obviously must be the difference in the package.
the other things I think, Chief, that we need to do notice on Badgers, on their notes and exclusions, there seems to be some structural and electrical stuff that's not in the bid, which I understand, having worked in construction, that it wouldn't fall to them, but needs to be done. So the total project would actually be more than the 436, because they're talking about some supports, some bracing and roofing, and other things that'll happen that are not in their bid. So when you would address this to those towers on
Yeah,
high, we'd
that's what I
have to
just
allot for
figured
that.
out.
And that's actually another project that we're looking at with replacing the roof membrane, and that project is actually going to be, was brought up in capital for 2023, and looking at,
Good timing.
that.
Chief, what I think we're missing is 4.1. As I'm looking at Badger here, they have all it listed, and
That would probably,
that's
from
probably what it is.
Yeah.
from complete control, 4.1.
Yeah, that would probably track along with everything else, yeah.
Yep.
When you compare it to Badgers, that makes sense.
I guess to committees and city council is that this is not, this is a definite need that needs to happen in the fire department. It's not just a want, it's not an extra, heat is a good thing to have in January.
Well, and the other thing we're dealing with right now is with the air conditioning units, our electrical system is not, built the proper way at Station One, and we're having several electrical issues now at Station One as well, with those, window air conditioners and ground units. So we're dealing with issues electrically now as well.
That's not good.
No, it's not.
Yeah, this is a must.
Yeah, I agree.
So,
So I would be in agreement if, like you said, if Victor's thorough, he'll have everything for the council to say, right, that missing piece for us to how
Correct.
you came
He
to
will.
decide that Badger should be the one that we should be
Yes.
going with. Okay.
Do we want to make a motion to accept Badger Heating and Air Conditioning to perform the work on this project?
Is that the recommendation from Victor?
That is the recommendation from our buildings and ground maintenance manager, yes.
I personally would like,
Motion, Joe?
Well, let's see what Brandon has to
All
say.
right, Brandon, go ahead.
can we table this to the bottom of the meeting while,
Table's the wrong,
or
postpone,
postpone it down, right?
postpone.
Sorry, postpone it down to the bottom of the agenda, give us a chance to get 4.1 from complete, so we can say we have everything we know right here in front of us before we make a decision.
So we got all information.
It's, fact, I like fact finding as well too, so.
Are we able to get it?
Are they copying?
I'm on
that
it right now.
All right.
Okay, then we will postpone any action until later during the meeting,
Okay.
when we will bring this subject back up. Until then, we will move on to agenda item number 9, recommendations for filling both bureau and line positions with the Stevens Point Fire Department. Chief?
So after running an internal and external chiefs assessment center, my recommendation is that we fill both current and long-term range positions in the bureau and on the line with within the Stevens Point Fire Department, with the following 3 names: Terrence Sinner, Craig Arndt, and Victor Kudrowski. That would then fill a portion of the positions that have been put out there and advertised, and I think these individuals would make a good fit and move forward with in these positions.
What was the first name again, Chief?
Terrence Sinner,
Spell.
Sinner,
Just like it sounds.
Craig Arndt, and Victor Kudrowski.
Very good.
Okay.
I will, well, are there any questions?
Go ahead, make a motion first.
I'll make a motion to fill the barrel and line positions with Terrence, Craig, and Victor within the Stevens Point Fire Department.
Okay, we have a motion, we have a second.
I'll second it.
So, yeah.
We have a second by Morozek. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Moving on to agenda item number 10. Recommendation to continue with the filling of the battalion chief positions that are open and the refilling of the division chief position. Chief?
So with that, we currently would have 2 open battalion chief positions still within the Stevens Point Fire Department. And now we would have also another division chief's position open with DC Howard leaving and going to Plover Fire Department. So my recommendation is that we continue moving forward with refilling DC Howard's position and continue on in the process looking for 2 additional battalion chiefs within our department. And I would like to get those positions posted in the very near future.
Very good.
Are we accepting outside posts, from outside departments?
Yes, that'll be another internal, external process, just like the one we just recently ran for the Chiefs Assessment Center.
I think, do we
Okay,
need a
yeah,
motion?
we need a motion for that.
Motion to continue with filling of the 2 open battalion chief positions and our division chief, the training officer position, left vacant by Trevor Howard. Motion to approve that.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any questions? Comments? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Agenda item number 11, establishment of salary, hours, and overtime compensation provisions for the battalion chief position. Chief?
So at this point, I am requesting that the salary of the position of Battalion Chief Victor Kudrowski of the Stevens Point Fire Department start at grade Q, step 5. This request, if approved by you guys, would go in front of the committees and council. The reason I am requesting grade Q step 5 is due to city policy 2.06. And within City Policy 2.06, it says the starting salary upon the promotion shall be the first step in grade the position resides that provides the employee an increase of a minimum of 5%. So currently, the union contract just was ratified, or is in the process of being ratified. Victor Kudrowski is a lieutenant within our department internally, and with a 5% increase due to City Policy 206, that would start him at step 5. And that is going to be my recommendation to the commission, is where he starts, and I would like approval to move that forward to council.
Okay.
And this
That's
is for the
city-
position of battalion chief?
This is the position of battalion chief, and then I will also talk about the division chief's position as well.
If that's city policy, it seems to me that it has to happen.
We have a motion?
Uh,
About how to do that.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to word this motion. I motion that we
City
move
policy.
forward with the chief's recommendation.
Do whatever.
Do whatever
the
chief
chief
said. Yeah,
How about per city policy 2.06?
Yep.
To approve chief's recommendation to have Victor start at grade Q, step 5
Very good.
per policy.
If you make a motion, I'll second it.
That's my motion.
All right, I'll second it. Okay.
You got that? Mm-hmm. Okay. Leanne's all over it. I don't know why you guys are confused.
Yeah. A lot of letters and all that, so.
Okay, so we have a motion to approve Q5 for Kudrowski.
Yeah.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Moving on, that was on the same
Bullet point.
agenda item.
Same agenda item. I am also requesting, under City Policy 2.07, that the position of Division Chief, Fire Marshal, Terrence Sinner, start with the Stevens Point Fire Department at grade Q, step 3. And City Policy 207 for that says new employees will not be starting at step 1, they start at step 2. Assistant chiefs obviously start at step 3, he's not. But with the approval, we have the right to start him at step 3. This would require approval from an internal subcommittee comprised of the mayor, comptroller, treasurer, affected department heads, personnel committee chair, and human resource manager. This can be done during recruitment difficulties or exceptional qualifications. Right now, I believe that the fire department does fall into that, where we're having recruitment difficulties. And also, he has exceptional qualifications. He was by far the lead candidate as the new division chief. And as an example, he has Inspector 3. Some of our other candidates didn't even know that that class even existed. So he has a lengthy list of qualifications and certifications that put him ahead of the rest. So that is my recommendation, that I meet with the subcommittee and start him at step 3.
Okay,
So I make a motion
All right,
go ahead.
that we install Terrence Sinner as the division chief, fire marshal at grade Q, step 3.
Correct.
I will second that motion.
Okay. Comments or questions?
When is this going to be effective? Is this going to be effective, when is he installed?
Those two pay rates will be effective when they move into those positions. So now that I have the commission's approval, I will put conditional offers.
Okay.
And then after they have accepted and they start, that's when that pay will change.
Okay.
Okay, so any other questions about the motion on the table?
I'm happy to see Terrence Sinner part of this department. Hopefully he accepts.
Okay, all in favor, please say aye.
aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Chief, will that be all for that one?
No, there's still more in there.
Okay,
So, the Nope, you're right, that was number 11.
Okay. Moving on to number 12.
So with number 12,
Hold on just a second. Number 12 is policy review on battalion chief's position with the administrative procedures of the Stevens Point Police and Fire Commission. Commence.
so currently there is nothing in the administrative procedures under the Stevens Point Police and Fire Commission that refers to the battalion chiefs specifically. Talking with the city attorney and how we wanted to come up with the work week and defining the overtime and the other benefits of the battalion chief, because they are going to be the new shift commander and they will be on the line with the other members of the department and not a 40-hour work week chief. Some things had to be discussed. And with that, we felt instead of putting them in city policy, they would be best suited for the administrative procedures of the PFC. In further discussion, the hours worked, we would like to add, basically stating that the hours worked for all employees who perform battalion chief duties shall be on the average of not more than 56 hours computed over a period of 1 calendar year. Each shift commander shall work its 56-hour work week as follows: 1 24-hour period, having 1 24-hour period off, work 1 24-hour period, having 1 24-hour period off, work 1 24-hour period, having 4 consecutive 24-hour periods off. A workday shall begin at 7:30 a.m. and shall end at 7:30 the following day, based on a 29/12 hours per year. We would like to add that to 3.03. And then also in 3.04, we would like to be able to add all time worked other than the normal duty day, which is defined above, shall be considered overtime. All compensations of overtime shall be accrued at time and 1/2 the regular pay. So they would receive time and a half on anything outside their 56-hour work week. All other benefits of this position would see the current CBA. So they would also be able to receive the benefits of the local, because again, they're on a 24-hour shift. They don't have the option of holidays off. They don't work a 40-hour work week. So they would accrue everything as a 24-hour line personnel. And so those two things would need to be added in 3.03 and 3.04.
Chief, where does the battalion chief line up in regards to versus division chief? I mean, refresh my memory here.
So it would, in the hierarchy of the department, it would be a lieutenant oversees a house, and then the battalion chief is going to be the shift commander overseeing the shift. They are still on a 56-hour work week, still on the line. A division chief comes off the line. They work a 40-hour work week, and they are in charge of a division, whether it's the fire bureau or the training division.
Okay. Now, this computing of the 56-hour work week, when I look at it, you got 3 24s of 72. You're taking based on the year, not on just week timeline, right? You're figuring I noticed your last statement on based on 29/12 hours over the year.
Yes, so the average is a 56-hour work week, and when you do that, it works out to 29/12 instead of a 20/80.
Okay.
Yes. Question for the city attorney. This is all appropriate and correct as far as you're concerned? Seems you're here. We're gonna get your exercise out of you.
So just to be clear, are we on agenda item number 11?
12.
12.
Okay, JB, when you and I discussed this, I thought we had talked about were these provisions being put into FD operational policies as opposed to the administrative policies and procedures of the PFC.
Okay. I can put them in there.
I guess I'm just picturing, the same document that we mentioned earlier for the PFC administrative procedures that needs updating and all that. Like, we don't keep other aspects of operational elements of the fire department in there. It relates more to the relationship between this body and both the police department and the fire department. So I think it would probably just more neatly fit in there, at least with regards to hours, overtime, those type of things. And I guess I'm just basing that just on my recollection of the phone call you and I had about 10 days ago or so.
So you're saying it should go into the policies and procedures of the fire department?
Right.
Not in ours?
That's, yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And I can do that then.
So you're okay with that?
That's up to you.
You're right, and that's.
You're
and
okay
that's-
with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so kind of no comments from me about the content, more about just where we put it in the library.
That's what I was asking for,
Mm-hmm.
clarification there.
So then we don't need to take action on this
We
and,
do not need to take any
Okay.
action on this at this point. If that's where it's gonna go, that's totally up to the
I don't have a
chief.
problem with that.
sounds good.
Okay.
All right.
Then you're all on your
Well,
own.
there you go.
If everybody's good with that?
Yep.
Yep, okay. Thank you for the
Just to clarify though, this body does have some control over policies and procedures of the fire
Yes.
department, so.
Just a little. Yeah.
Right,
Yeah, but first step is figure out where it goes first before making an action on it, so. yeah.
right.
Okay. I guess we're done with that item. We're moving on to item number 13, which is discussion with possible action on long-term agreement with the Village of Park Ridge. I think we've kind of got this one a little ahead of time at the moment, that we really don't have anything to base this on yet. We haven't been in agreement with them.
Okay.
The terms for the November 1st, the motion we made last month, or whenever we agreed on this, was that we needed to be notified by November 1st. This all didn't have to be completed by November 1st.
Correct.
So until, I don't even think we haven't formally gotten a notification, as far as I know, from Park Ridge that they want to enter into a long-term agreement. If you've received something from them,
No, President Menzel had made mention that they were looking for something potentially to see what that long-term contract would look like. That's the only communications we've had, and that was actually through the mayor's office. So right now, we've gotten 1 month of data in as their fire suppression department, and we are going to report on that on the 29th of August at their village meeting, our board meeting. And there are definitely some things that if we decide to do a long-term contract with the Village of Park Ridge, we're going to need to add on top of the current short-term agreement.
okay?
President Moore, I just want to
Yes.
clarify, you had initially said that we're not in agreement. What you meant is they haven't contacted us and we don't have an agreement.
Correct.
Not that we're.
Correct, yeah, we have a short-term agreement, we
Right.
don't have a long-term agreement, and
Got
we
it.
haven't been notified. So there's no action to be taken on that at this time.
President Moore, would it be beneficial for us just to keep an update, agenda item on this as we move through the short-term contract?
If you want, we can do that for an update from the same one that he gives Park Ridge, so we're all on the same page.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm completely fine with
I
that.
think that'd be
Yeah.
prudent.
Okay.
Okay.
Any other comments or questions about that? Seems we have it.
And a majority of that report, so you're aware, is exactly the same report that I give you guys as well.
Okay.
Excellent.
Thank you. Thanks, Joe.
Or getting it, or we will. Seems we have this information. Do you want to hand that out, JB, and we'll just go back to that subject?
Well,
Return.
We actually have this already. Yep, they do.
We don't have. Yeah, we don't have.
We don't have
We
411.
don't
We do
have
not have
411.
Oh, all right.
That was the one that really put it over the edge.
You don't need to make
Yeah.
copies, just pass it
No,
around. Yeah, just pass it around.
Just pass it down so we can see, and we'll take that, moving back to the agenda item
Okay.
number 8 for the HVAC bids.
I think these are the missing numbers we were looking for.
I just want to see it.
Right, but you don't need a copy right now.
just want to see.
Do I need to send them to you?
Please.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'm just gonna read over your shoulder.
About 41,000.
It was actually easier to read when you were holding on to it. That's not a good sign.
So,
That still puts them under the other one.
it does.
Budget total 259,500.
Come up with about 300.
Please pass that down.
So you have to take each one as a total bid. each
Mr.
page.
Gums, can you go up to the microphone if you're gonna speak to us, please?
225,517 is what you're gonna add to whatever that is.
So, sorry, Joe Gams, this Stevens Point Fire. Each section, if you go to 4.1, 4.2, 4.3, each one has totals, there's like a 6,000. If you add all those together, the total bid, when we get to at the end, the total bid comes out to 516,000 and some odd
Yeah,
is where it ends up.
that makes sense to me.
So what you were missing was the 200,000 in the 269,000. And then if you take each section of that, if you go to 4.2, there's numbers in there that you add in, and then you add in 4.3s, 4.4s, and 4.5s. And that comes out to 516,000.
Yep, thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to
Look back here.
accept Badger Heating and Air Conditioning's quote to do the work at Station 1 as provided to us. Is that the motion you're looking for?
Is that the motion you wanna make?
That's the motion I want to make.
Okay.
Second it, Morozek.
We have a motion by Kirschling, second by Morozek.
When I asked if that's what you're looking for, I meant the wording of it.
I understand. I get it.
I want to do it right, President Moore.
Yes, Mr. Ostrowski.
Question, in that, before we vote on that, 4.2, bottom of the Badger bid, it says deduct 40,000. I would have you asking the chief, is he wants that deducted, or does he want that left out? I would think, based on what I'm reading, we want it left out.
Yes, we want that left out.
Thank you, Mr. President.
So what's the total?
436.
436,092.
Okay, was that in the motion?
I didn't add that, but we can add that to the motion. 436.92.
436,
amount?
yes, 92.
To accept that bid.
Okay,
I'll
Badger
make that
Heating and
motion.
Cooling. All right, any other questions, comments? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. That wraps up agenda item number 8. Moving on to agenda item 14, which is request Chief Moody be allowed to carry over 74 hours of unused vacation time set to expire on August 16th, 2022. Mr. Moody has been a very busy man, and the mayor called me up personally and asked us to extend this offer so that he could retain his vacation time. So,
I know JB has been working way more than what the job description is, so I will make a motion to allow JB Moody to carry over 74 hours of unused vacation set to expire August 16th of '22.
okay, we have a motion. We have a second?
Second by Morozek.
Second.
Second by Morozek. Okay, questions, comments?
Do chiefs get vacation? I thought they get vacation.
I'm not, that's why we're having the.
Obviously not.
Is there a timeline on this to be used?
I believe it's for this year only. It would be just to carry it over to this calendar, the next
So,
anniversary.
anniversary date. So August 16th is actually my anniversary date, and management goes on anniversary dates. So I would have 74 hours added to my,
In the next year
in
time.
addition to my, would have to be used by 2023, August 16th.
Okay.
Just don't make this a habit.
No.
Go on vacation. You
Yeah.
need some.
It's good for your health.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. We've had enough comments. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Moving on, agenda item number 15. Ratification of collective bargaining agreement with the local 484 covering the years 2022, 2023, and 2024. We have gotten copies of this at the last minute, which they ratified, the union ratified this last night, typed up copies of it, and it's been gone over by city staff, by the city attorney, by the fire chief, and now by you guys. So, review. Chief,
Not a problem. So I can go through this and review it. I can give you the cliff notes, or we can go through it word
Hit
by
the
word.
highlights.
Hit the highlights, okay. So wages will be, it's going to be a 3-year contract. It's going to be a 1% increase January 1st of each year of the 3 years, and a 2% July 1st of each year. Article 22 residency, we took out the residency requirements restricting the members of the department within the boundaries of Portage County to no residency. Article 18, uniform allowance, we came in line with the city PD and made it $700 per year, and that would be paid out by the second pay period of each year for uniform allowances. Article 9, scheduled time off. Basically, what we did there is we changed how the local or line personnel are given their vacation calendar. It'll be November 1st through December 31st now. Article 12, bereavement leave. We added a few different family members to that and simply mirrored that in Article 14, family emergency leave. Article 7, hours worked. We just basically took out the old clock. It was just a housekeeping issue. And under the new recruits language, we actually added all new language you can see in green, and what that allows is us to be able to run our academy on days with our division chief of training. Article 4, seniority and promotions under section D is regarding the new field training paramedic position that is going to be within the Stevens Point Fire Department. This basically takes, again, similar to the PD with their FTO positions, we would have paramedics basically working with our new recruits once they come online and assisting them and mentoring them through their time on probation. Sick leave, and what we changed under that article is the bonus days have been converted to bonus vacation days. So bonus sick days became bonus vacation days. The comptroller's office worked with us on that and is going to work with our administrative assistant at the FD and the local on doing all the conversions. But basically what that does is takes the bonus sick days, makes them bonus vacation days, and gives them the opportunity to use them as earned time off a lot easier. There are some examples of this under Appendix F. And anyone that had bonus sick days on the books as of right now will be able to do a 1-to-1 conversion, but those days will have to be used up by June 30th of 2024. The battalion chief's language we've discussed in great depth. We've done some presentations with the PFC. As we started to go through this, a majority of the next few pages becomes housekeeping issues and getting rid of the captain's title and recognition throughout the contract, and adding in the battalion chief's title or position where it's needed within the contract language. That also includes several articles within the contract, starting with the recognition, seniority and promotions, the grievance procedure, hours worked, salaries, and also our appendixes. There was an Appendix D also added. I think I should touch on this a little bit more in depth. With the restructure in 2022, any of our captains who are not going to become the new battalion chiefs and are reduced in rank, they will still get a pay increase for 2022 and 2023. In 2024, that salary will freeze.
So it says it will freeze for subsequent years until the current rank is equivalent to the current pay rate.
Correct. So what happens there is, if a captain chooses not to apply for battalion chief or does not get one of the positions and is reduced in rank to lieutenant, he or she still will receive the pay of the captain until the lieutenant two's wages catches up to the captain's wage.
So it's
And
a
then-
hold in place until.
Yes, and then they will receive the lieutenant's two wage as those percent increases happen within the contract.
Thanks, Chief.
The evaluation process and how our members receive their evaluations at the end of each year, their annual evaluations. There were a lot of updates to that as well, being that the shift commander will now be a battalion chief and not the captain. And then lastly, a grievance resolution under Article 9, scheduled time off and vacation changes. And as you can see, the old language was struck and the new language was put in, agreeable to both parties through the grievance procedure as written.
Anyone have any questions?
And then, just one last thing, also on Appendix A, the wage was also put in there, 2022 through 2024. So as you can see, current with a 1%, 1/1/22, a 2%, a 1 and a 2% in 23, and the same in 24. And the captain's wage still stays in there, but it's asterisked as of 24, being froze.
Chief, who exactly is covered by this contract? What, not just the rank and file, but are lieutenants in this contract?
Correct. So it would
New
be,
battalion chiefs are not?
correct,
Okay. So the battalion chiefs and up are out of the union?
correct.
Okay.
That's it for me.
I don't have any questions.
Okay. I'll make a motion to ratify the contract as presented to us.
Second. Taylor.
Any other questions, comments? Question for the city attorney? Everything is acceptable? Okay.
After this, one question I do have, after this is decided on here with this vote, where does it go from there until it's completely ratified? Are we the last vote, or is there a council?
This is the last vote. It goes to signatures then?
No, it'll actually, this is
Go
the
to
first
council
vote. It'll go to committees,
First
then
vote was last
council,
night.
and then it'll actually get signed.
Okay.
And then once everyone is in agreement, like I said, the union ratified it last night, all parties are in agreement, we'll get the signatures on it and move forward.
Sounds good. Okay.
Okay.
That's it for me.
Any other questions? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Now I have to find my agenda again. That wasn't so bad. Agenda item number 16, fire chief's report, because we're not tired of the fire chief yet.
Speak for yourself.
Special events, obviously Riverfront went well this year. One other note, we've had 2 MABUS requests to go outside of our division as a strike team request. Those requests have been made by other agencies, Waupaca and Outagamie counties. We've gone as far as now combined locks for a large fire and have been put on standby to go to a few other, looking to go to a few other incidences further north as well. So we are being utilized more and more through MABUS outside our division.
Chief, can you remind the commission what a strike team request is?
So through the MABUS mutual aid box alarm system that we have in place, we are part of Division 110, which is everyone within Portage County. If another county goes through a 5-alarm fire, they can go interdivisionally, and that is when we request either a group of tenders as a strike team or engines. And it is a total of 5 engine companies, 4 people on each engine with a strike team leader. So you're looking at 21 people leaving the county certified as firefighter 1 or higher, are going to another county to assist in a large scale fire. And now we've been requested twice now in the last about 6 to 8 weeks to go to other counties and respond to other areas in the state.
How, on average, when we, with combined locks and going outside of the counties, how long does that occupy our personnel on average, do you think?
So when we get tasked for a strike team, we are considered leaving the area for a complete operational period. An operational period is 12 hours plus the time of travel. To go to combined locks, it was just about an hour both ways for travel because it was on the opposite side of Appleton from here. So you're looking at a potential up to 14 hours. Now, most of the time that doesn't last that long, but it can.
How do we backfill? If we send our guys out, what do we do for fire protection?
So then we set off, I am responding and get off-duty personnel in to backfill those positions. Now, when those calls come out immediately, we send those people not knowing if we're going to get the backfill or not. And that's what we did for the festive foods call in Waupaca County. And for the other one in combined locks, we were preparing for the next operational period, and our check-in time was at 0600. And so we were starting things the night before. We were unable to find off-duty personnel to do that. So Stevens Point Fire Department actually took a pass as part of that strike team to leave from Portage County. So if we get enough notification for the next operational period, we'll do it with off-duty personnel. If it's immediate, we send our immediate crew and we backfill with our off-duty personnel.
Thank you.
JB, do we keep any just inside tabulation of the cost to respond? And I understand with MABUS, it's mutual aid. I mean, that's what it's there for. But the dollar line impact to going out, right, to, I mean, we're even talking, you're talking an hour away, gas, everything. I mean, there's a bottom line to that, how it.
Correct, and
Will affect us.
another part of that is their assistance in our assistance in when we get there. A majority, because of the apparatuses we have, we don't obviously have great gas mileage.
Right.
And when we're operating those diesel motors and have the pumps engaged, we go through the fuel rather quickly. Those costs are kind of, we do keep those, but also they're providing us fuel, like the combined locks when we were there, and also in Waupaca, they had a fuel truck come in, and we could top our apparatuses off there before returning home. They also provide our members rehab, food, water, those types of things. So, we're really paying for the cost of those personnel, but we are tracking that.
Chief, the strike team, I thought you said 21 members?
21 members in total because it's 5 apparatuses from the county. 4 on each, and then a strike team leader.
Okay, but you don't necessarily dispatch the entire strike team.
Yes, all 5. So when we went to Festive Foods, we sent 5 engines, we mustered and Plover at their fire department, and all 5 apparatuses went together, and I went as the strike team leader.
That's what I was leaning to. So the strike team is really made up of units from throughout Portage County.
Correct. It was Stevens Point, Plover, Stockton, Hull, and Rudolph that went to Festive Foods.
And by being in agreement to help them, does that automatically lay some responsibility on them to return the favor if we,
Correct.
so it's a mutual agreement when we enter it?
Correct. So if we were to go to a 5th alarm fire in the city of Stevens Point, and then we wanted to go interdivisional, working with our regional directors, we could do that.
Okay.
And we have that built into our cards right now.
Okay.
Right, it's not necessarily a monetary, it's just, it is really what it is, mutual aid. You're helping out another community, they in turn help us out, but they're not footing a bill for our personnel.
Correct.
So that's a clear understanding on that.
Correct.
Continue on with your report.
After 20 years, Lieutenant Armando Ramon retired. We've had a few Metro calls over the last month. And training hours, we did send a number of our members through the Certified Swift Water Training course a few weeks ago, which now we only have a few left that need to go through the certification next year, and then everyone will be certified in Swift Water as well as all the ice water and all the other technical rescue aspects when it comes to that. We've been working on our drafting and pumping capabilities, now taking over the Village of Park Ridge responsibilities. And we sent a few members over to the Image Trends Conference to help with our IT section of the department. Other than that, we've had several public activities that we've been involved with. And the men and women of the Stevens Point Fire Department have been very busy the last month.
Very good. Chief, as of this date, are all our firefighters also paramedics?
We have one lieutenant that is a lieutenant EMTI, but all other members of the Stevens Point Fire Department are whatever rank and file they are, and a paramedic. That is correct.
And lastly, my question for you is, right now, today, how many members of the department are we low?
Are we low? 8.
Okay.
And I would love to show a little bit about our RTF and our training. So I will let Chief Cuso speak on this as well, but this is a clip from our last year's annual Rescue Task Force training.
We're more or less trying to imitate a business setting, active shooter situation.
Units out on Century, miscellaneous calls from the neighbors in the area of Century Insurance advising they're hearing possible automatic gunfire coming from the Century building.
42 to 04, we got a victim in the parking lot down by a white truck. Second victim is going to be in the grass. Get down! Contact, back door. Officer down. Clark's down, he's got a chest wound. Shooter went through the open door, 2 shooters.
Black tactical gear has rifles, others ring cable and also has rifles. Several people are injured.
We evacuated the officer. He's going to St. Mike's by squad car.
Show me your hands! Don't move!
Keep your hands up, hop on out.
2 shooters, what did they do?
They went in and just started shooting at me.
Okay.
Two females, one wearing a pink jacket, one wearing a gray sweatshirt, uninjured, going to be walking out the south exit.
It is still, as far as we've been told, it's still hot. So also a hot zone.
Clearing.
I don't think I'm living! No! We're gonna be here a while ago! It's too late!
211 to 5th man. We established a warm zone for RTF team's southeast entrance that's open.
We're at the southeast corner of the building. We have not made entry yet. I do have one non-injured and one yellow GSW to the left arm.
Police department, open the door! You see your hands? Hands! 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 Come on! My right arm! Shot in the right arm! Is that else in there? Jordan, we're coming to you! Walk? I can walk.
4, we need to get entry. We're going to have reports of patients inside.
You gotta sit down so you don't get shot in the head.
I'll work on it.
That's 3-man contact. You just said you want them to clear the parking lot, is that correct?
Oh!
Yeah, clear the parking lot.
Go ahead.
Got you right here.
Go ahead. Dealer's up.
Fifth man to MRAP, that female that's getting in now, she'll need to be interviewed right away, separated from the rest of them. She was, I believe, a hostage in that stairwell.
This would be a lot easier if you just came on up, put the gun down, came up with your hands up, we can get this over with.
You've already seen what I've done. I'm capable of doing it.
You're right, I have.
Talk to us? Why is that? Why is that?
Real good. Good job.
Tom, are you the only one in there? Okay. Yep.
Don't leave, help us! Please, please, here we are. Don't leave, help us! Hands up. Go!
These are just uninjured people who want on.
We have 2 detained in the northwest building. They're not injured.
There's 2 more victims somewhere in the east building in a big office, whatever that may be, so.
There was people that went to the stairwell, but they don't know if they made entry in the basement.
Starter pistol range or something?
Who has the pistol?
I got a pistol, yeah.
Show me your hands. Are you injured?
Hands on you. Keep your hands high. This is just an ankle injury. Contact 3 to 5th man. Secondary sweep. West side complete.
10-4.
We're trying to replicate what it would sound like in a real situation where when people leave their workspaces quickly. We made for a very realistic scenario.
Dramatic.
Great job.
So first of all, I'd like to thank everybody who had a hand in putting that together. And I'm sure Chief Kuso has got things to say about this as well. But this is, the Rescue Task Force program has been something that Portage County's been working on for the last almost 10 years and has been a joint effort with fire, EMS, and law enforcement from all agencies here in Portage County. And we have gone other places to other counties and trained other agencies how to do these things. We are at the tip of the spear when it comes to Rescue Task Force and the concepts. And I know other counties have taken a lot away from coming over to our trainings and participating in them. And so we just got to continue to stay a step ahead and continue on with what you saw with the Rescue Task Force concepts.
The only thing I'd like to add on that is Lieutenant Joe Johnson is kind of the main leader in this. He actually begins, it's a year. He just finished this one. He's already starting planning for the 2023. We had average 55 role players every day. We did it 3 days. It's an incredible scenarios that we put on, real life. And we do it hoping that we never have to do it. But Portage County has done a phenomenal job on this, and Bob Want is the one who started it, really brought it here. But it's an amazing thing. Plus I get to play the bad guy. So.
Yeah, it was very, very well put together. You can see that it's a very
Nice job, sir.
well job done.
Anything else in your report, Chief?
That's all in my report for this month.
Wow.
That's all I have to say.
Any other questions? Motion to accept the report and place it on file.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Agenda item number 17, President's Report. I really don't have a lot to report today. It's been a long enough meeting. So I'm going to move right on to agenda item number 18, which is adjournment. Thank you all very much. We are adjourned.
A video of this meeting is available for viewing on the city's website, stevenspoint.com/videos.